Hello guys, so today we are looking at variables. We'll be looking at variables. So I'm just going to create a new Python file, name it variables. It should be in lowercase. Variables .py. Remember your Python uh, files must end with py for it to be recognized as a Python file. So what are variables? Variables are placeholders values where we store different values in uh, computing in the computer. So and in programming. So for example, now we might have a name variable that consists the name of the person. Let's say it consists the name Joshua or Josh, and we have a age 24. So if we print this out, print print name, let's see what it will. So let's save that and then run it. Remember we run the Python file by appending py and then the name of the file. Variable, you can see it prints out Josh here, Josh. So if we also print out the age, print age, save that, run the file, you see we'll have the name and the age. So basically this is a placeholder that contains a value. This is also a placeholder that contains a value. And the value containing here is Josh. It's this string called Josh with characters in it, and then here also we have a number 24. So basically variables are is a form or is like is a container that contains a value. A value you can use, you can reference in the future in your program or anywhere in your program. Once you store something in it, you can reference it anywhere in your program. And this is basically the way to create a variable in Python. This is unlike if you are coming from JavaScript, you have to do something like let, but in Python, you just name it directly. Nothing precedes it. You can see you just name it directly and just name your variable directly and then assign whatever you want to assign to it. So, and one thing you must note about Python is that Python is dynamically typed, which means that you don't need to explicitly specify the type of data that is in it. Python automatically determines the type by the value by the value stored in the variable. So in some programming language like C sharp, you still have to do const int, declare if it's an integer or not. And you now name the variable and say name. So you first declare the type. If it's string, you say string. If it's boolean, you define it as boolean, but not like that in Python. Python is dynamically typed. So you can come here, input Josh, and then come here after printing it, assign something else, name, assign a number to it, and it won't throw an error, and then you print the name. If we come here, I will do that. You see, it didn't throw an error, it just automatically. But you can't do that in some programming languages, you know, because each variable needs to be specifically typed. But Python is dynamically typed, so you have to be very careful there, not to mix types. If you are declaring a variable, you want string to be in it, make sure it's string to be in it. So, um, having said that, one other thing we want to look at is naming conventions in Python. So if I have a variable with this name, Josh, I have another one, name equals, I can say Peter, okay, or Joe. These two are different. They are different variables. Because they are both named does not mean because uh, this one started with a capital letter, meanwhile this one is all small letter. So your casing really matters in the naming of a variable. If I print out name here and then print out the name with a capital letter, you see they they will both maintain their values. I've not saved it, so let's save it. You see, they both maintain their values. They are treated as different because they are named according to Python. They are named differently because you are using different casing. But in a case where I use small letter a to also and say name, it a name. When it gets here, it will override the value. The value that is there before being Josh will be override reading by Joe. So once I print that out now, it is Joe that will be. You can see it's even throwing an error here because I'm printing out what doesn't exist. Let me comment that out. And then this, you can see Joe, Joe. So your casing matters in the naming of your variable. The other thing I want you to note also is the naming conventions in Python. You can do uh, my user 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 name or you can do user uh, name here is equals to Peter. These are different naming conventions. This is called the camel casing, you know, naming convention. Using a capital letter to start the other names. When you are combining names for a variable, this is called camel casing. But usually we don't use this type of casing in Python. We don't use camel casing. We use what is called snake casing, which is the use of underscore. So this is wrong in Python. In Python, yeah, we go with this camel casing. So you can name your variables, by camel casing, each camel casing different names if you need, you know, I can say users age is equals to 44 here, and I then come here and print username and also print user age. You can see here Paul and 44 user age. So that is basically uh, naming convention. So you've learned about variables, you've learned about uh, dynamic typing of variables, and you've also learned about the naming conventions used in Python. Uh, the other thing I would like to show you in the next class will be We'll talk about the types. So we'll talk about the different data types that we have. So see you in the next tutorial. Kindly like and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this.